Clarke TV viewers, it's Carrie Clarke again for another episode of The Healing Power of Divorce. I have my two sidekicks again here today. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tara.
I'm Ann Dages.
And today's topic is all about online dating. Now, when I said this topic to my friends, we all got a big chuckle out of it. Everyone got a little uncomfortable, little nervous. I have to say, out of my friends, I was the one who initiated the online dating. And I believe that we'll see how this episode goes, but this may be a two-part series because part of the online dating was all about, I did some work on myself before I actually went on the computer and set up an online dating account. And when I say did some work on myself, I actually went out and hired some people who specialize in dating. Now, obviously, I was married for 20 years. I had no idea that this was out there. I really, it just went over my head. I had no idea what a love mentor was. And a love mentor is actually a dating coach. And I decided to enter a contest where you could win an actual session with this love mentor. And lo and behold, winner, winner, chicken dinner, I won a session with her. Now, part of the session was she gave me a form to fill out, and I had to do some work prior to getting on the line with her. She was actually out in California. And the work that I had to do was I had to really reflect on what I wanted in a partner. And I had to go through a series of questions. Now, in that series of questions, I had to really look inward on what failed in my marriage and what had failed in the brief relationships I had prior to my husband. Now, with you guys, I'm talking all about myself and this love mentor. You guys also went through the process of going out there, whether it was online or anything else. You guys had to do something to get yourself ready to get back out. Now, you were each in long-term relationships, and you got rusty in the dating scene because, like me, we've said it before in previous episodes, you don't get married with the thought that it's going to end. You think you're never going to go back out on the dating scene. And then when it happens, it's like, okay, this is really, really uncomfortable.
It really was. It really was. It's and I honestly did not prepare like you did. I felt like I was ready inside, and I just kind of put this profile together, and it wasn't good. It was like, I wish I had had the knowledge then that I have now. I probably would have prepared myself a little bit better, but I didn't. And I went on a few dates, but there was no spark really for too many people. And then I got bored, and then I don't know, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
So, I think, yeah.
And I think that happens in a lot of situations. Now, one of the things that I will tell you that was like a really big turning point for me was the love mentor had me write down 5 things that I wanted in a partner. And she had me fill out these sheets with these other questions, but she put me on the spot. Yeah, and she said, tell me quickly 5 things that you want. You definitely want, this time around when you're going back on the dating scene. And I said, okay. And surprisingly, they came to me really quickly. The first one that I came up with that I was like really strong about was that I couldn't have a partner that was battling any addiction. That was like, that's a game changer for me. That's a no-go. I can't do it. And the second one that I had was that someone was financially stable. That my profession, my day job is all about finances, and I really did not want to manage someone else's money. I wanted someone to come to the relationship very strong in their finances. The third thing that I asked for was, you guys know, and maybe the audience can't see it, but I have a sense of humor that keeps me just, without it, I see the world as boring. I really feel like I need to have a partner that has a sense of humor, doesn't take life too seriously. The fourth thing that I came up with was really, being open to the universe. And I say that because part of my divorce journey 3 years ago was exposing myself to a level that was far deeper than I could ever imagine. And I needed someone who was emotionally available to go that direction. Doesn't mean we have to meditate every day, but somebody is like emotionally, they're able to go there with me. The fifth one, the person had to really completely enjoy traveling, and traveling in the way that I'm saying, like, is able to go on vacation on a monthly basis. Not that you have to go, 2 weeks out of 4 weeks. I'm not saying that, but has that ability financially to do it, and likes to do it, as much as I like to do it. So I was really going, after those 5 things. And what the love mentor said to me when I described those 5 things was, she said, a lot of the clients come to her, and when she asked them to list 5 things, they say, I want a guy that's 6'2". I want a guy with brown hair. I want a guy that's a police officer. I want a, very like
superficial qualities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she said, what happens when, we do that is that her experience has shown those are the relationships that don't sustain for the long term. Now, I only actually did that one free session with her because I could do a package. And in the package, she checks in with you. Now, part of that package was that she says you date multiple people all at once.
It's a lot of work. That just scared me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
My God.
A lot of time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would make me so uncomfortable to do that. I just really do. I think, and the reason being that, like, I guess when I go on a date with somebody, I have to give them a chance to see how it works out until I go to somebody else, if that makes any sense. So I don't even know how I would go about that. Like,
Oh, believe me, I was like totally crawling out of my skin. I'm like, what? And what's funny about it, so the reasoning behind her saying that was, okay, we're just breaking it down to basic human instincts. When we as women have a sexual relationship with a man, we have a tendency to become emotionally attached to them. And so that emotional attachment can sometimes persuade your judgment on whether to stay with someone or, stay with
And
someone
not be authentic.
yes, that maybe is not the best for us.
So basically, you're saying go on multiple dates, not just dinner, not a sexual type thing, just
Yes.
as a
More
platonic,
casual.
What she
casual.
said
yeah.
was the fact that you're going on multiple dates keeps it so you're not intimate with them.
That makes sense.
That does make sense because I was thinking of, when you said date multiple people, I was thinking of dogs. And like, we have a dog now that we love dearly as our little kid along with the other kids. And I don't want to get another dog or puppy because I'd feel spread too thin. I wouldn't know our dog now as I want to know him and pay attention to him. And that makes sense because if you get really involved right away with one person and your judgment starts getting clouded. And so, dogs, okay.
So you wouldn't open yourself up to anybody else.
Right. You'd be real,
Yes.
tunneled, or I guess it could be a good or a bad thing. I don't want to judge it one way or another, but that's kind of what tends to happen.
Yes.
Maybe what she was saying.
Right. And so the love mentor was saying, so when you have that ability of going on multiple dates with people, you go through a week of going on a couple dates, and you come back and you check in with her. And you assess, what was it that you liked about the first date? What was it that you liked about the second date? What are you attracted to? So we've been doing these episodes. You guys have been great on, previous episodes that we've been doing. We've been talking about how uncomfortable we are, how the change, we're not used to it. We may have stayed in a relationship that wasn't serving us because it was comfortable. And then we get out of our comfort zone and everything is uncomfortable. And you have this tendency, at least I'll only speak for myself, is to go back to what you have known.
Even if it wasn't good for you. And you can tend to fall back on it just because you know how to do it. Whether it's good or bad, you know how to.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And it's really, I don't know, what beam of light hit me, but I said that, if I'm ever gonna have the relationship that I feel I deserve, I need to do something, I need help. I need to take
from yourself to get from yourself what?
Yes, do something, because I don't know if you guys have ever talked to a friend about, a relationship when somebody dates frequently. And
Just you.
They, they say they get done with the relationship and they're like, it's just like the relationship before, same
Habitual kind of, or
Right.
serial.
same kind of energy, same, you don't see it initially, you're, kind of caught up in the relationship, the excitement of it, but as time goes on, it seems like you're going back to.
So yeah, exactly. For me, I know mine was always the caregiver, so I would always find men
Your
that I
role.
had to take care of, or at least I felt like I had to take care of. And I would find myself getting in that rut over and over and over again. And didn't know how to get out of it. It's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
Hard to change.
It is really hard to change.
It's hard to even recognize,
Yes.
first of all, that you're playing a role over and over again and it may not be good for you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think that love coach is a good idea.
Well, it's really, you can talk about online dating all you want, and it's really one of the other things that we had talked about with the mentor, with this love mentor is, You know, what was it that you felt were, you know, your hang-ups in your previous relationship? And I had mentioned this before, you know, about codependency. To really like have that illusion of a good relationship when it's really just, you know, you think that you can't do it on your own. And you guys know this, I made a conscious decision, you know, to leave a relationship and live on my own for, you know, an extended period of time. More than anything, just to say, I can find happiness outside of a relationship.
On your own,
Yeah.
in your own head.
Right. And I know I have talked to so many people about, they will say, like, I have this real fear of being by myself.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Long for some time by myself. And well, so if I might add, having kids changes
It does.
the whole dynamic a little bit. You know, kids that are on the cusp of a young adulthood, but still need a lot of, I feel, you know, for my kids, still need a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
So the time, the commitment that you have to your kids,
Yes.
and the commitment that you want to give to dating and, you know, meeting people and finding someone to share things with, it does add a whole other thing into the mix there,
I agree.
you know, with that,
Yeah.
with that
right,
whole part.
right. Now, the last thing that she said to me was, and she hit the nail on the head with this one, was that I need to choose my partner this time.
That's interesting.
Can you
Never thought of
explain
it
what
that
you mean
way, yeah.
by that?
Well, what she got into was she asked me, in all the years that I dated, did I ever go out and actually go after someone?
Like chase after
Yeah.
somebody.
And I said to her, honestly, I can't remember one time where I went and sought someone.
No, because I feel like I'm afraid of rejection, you know? So if I go after somebody and then they're like, no, I'm going to be like, okay.
So you
know,
wait
like-
until someone, you
Yeah.
know someone's
Right.
accepting you or interested in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And she said, that is...
Yeah, what does that indicate?
She got into really talking about, you know, the fact that we all have a fear of rejection, that we all have that fear of exposing and someone's not going to like you. And really what she said, in order for me to be successful in my own online dating, I had to be completely comfortable that I knew what I was going after, and that I was confident that I deserved that kind of love back from the person.
That's true. Which might be hard coming off the ending of a relationship,
Right,
because how do you get your head back to that space
Right.
after something that you've just gone through?
right.
That was tough.
I think that's why you need to have space and time between, you know, to get to know yourself and
Yes. Yep.
and like you know, make a list of what you want out of a partner, and then
Yep.
I mean, I don't think that no matter what part, you're never going to get all that you want out of a partner, because that's just
Because
not
that's a perfect
realistic.
person and it doesn't
and
exist.
that doesn't exist. But as long as, I think you had said before, as long, like maybe your top two, like no addiction issues and you know, independent financially
or something.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So, you know, as long as there's a couple of them that are super important to you, I think that would be good. But I don't think you can think that I'm going to have all 5 of these things, you know, like.
Well, if anyone can, Carrie will.
Well, that is true. That is true.
She will find it.
Oh, wait a minute, chicken dinner!
I just think you have to have balance, though. You know, you have to, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Well,
you
yeah,
have to
because
go
I
to
think
that
of that
or
and I
that.
think, well, oh, okay, so if this was different in my relationship, well then, you know, such and
Yes.
such would go so much better. But you know what? You could hunt around for a partner that finds every single perfect thing and hits it
Right.
right on the head. But then you have to think of yourself as well. I'm not perfect. I never will be.
Right,
I don't want to
exactly.
be, really. And I won't be that to somebody else. So it's always going to be compromise in some
Right.
way.
Yeah,
Right, right.
I think compromise is huge.
Well, and it's also, asking for things on your list that see in yourself. So you're not, you don't want to come to the relationship, you don't want to make a list and say, I'm not being realistic with myself about, these things. If I can't give that to someone,
That's
Right,
very
that's true.
true. Yeah.
then I can't expect someone else, to bring that in the equation. And it really, I think more than anything, I realized in the session that I did, and then I did work outside of that, that I had to really come to the table with living by myself, feeling comfortable by myself. That's ironically where you guys, came in. Because I said, if I'm not coming home to someone every night, and I feel this sense of loss, what is it that I'm longing for? And I'm longing for, that just having someone there in the space with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like that. You can say it's loneliness or this or that, but, there's a difference between suffering, staying home every night by yourself, and coming home at night and the partner that you've had there for 20 years isn't there, and it just feels like a loss.
Sure. Yeah.
And then, that's when I turned the switch and I said, okay, I want to come to a relationship with a lot of things, that I'm doing that are outside of them, that are powerful to me and bring me joy. I think the biggest thing that I took from the Love Mentor is that it's very hard to come to a relationship when you're not happy first.
I agree 100%.
Definitely.
When, you battle yourself and you battle with the happiness, and you're looking for someone to come and make you happy.
Or to concentrate on instead of yourself.
Yeah.
To
True.
go outside of yourself.
Right.
That's that's what they always say. You have to love yourself before you could love someone
I
else.
agree.
And
Yes.
it's definitely
Yeah.
true.
It is true, but it's not a journey, and it's constantly evolving for me. It's definitely not a short journey, and it's definitely not a journey that I see ending.
Right.
Lifelong. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's what makes
Yeah.
it interesting, is that it's lifelong, and
Yeah.
that you're always hoping that you'll learn something new about yourself and about your surroundings and your relationship.
Yes.
I mean, that's what makes us stagnant if we're like, all right, I'm there, I've learned all I can, which is false anyway.
Right.
But to always strive for more
Yes.
and betterment.
Yes. Yes.
And change for yourself, and I don't mean big changes, little changes, like meeting new friends or doing different things,
Growth
or trying
changes.
a new habit. Exactly, yeah, and just to keep your life interesting.
Well, right. If nothing else, just to
Yeah.
keep it interesting.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's really, the idea that you can leave a long-term relationship and just hop on, online dating and just, there's just so much in between the end of one and trying to get into, another relationship. And until you walk the walk, you don't realize that.
it's because if you go from one relationship to another, it's just like you said in the beginning. Honestly, you're going into the same situation because you're not happy. You're carrying all that baggage with you because you haven't dealt with it into the new relationship, and it's, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a healthy relationship. I think you really need that time to grow and learn who you are. and what you want, and
living by yourself and,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
having
Right.
your own space for
Right.
specifically and
Yeah.
consciously for a while, like you were saying,
Yes.
and then, you know,
yeah,
time to think,
Yeah, definitely. Time to think and time to just
know yourself again.
know yourself and feel uncomfortable. Society quenches uncomfortableness. You know, it's always like, you know, I read an article about it. It's taught to us in a very young age, you know, when a kid cries, you got nothing to cry about. What are you crying about? You know, it's always like our emotions are always,
Tamped down and invalidated, maybe.
yes,
Exactly.
yes. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's just working through here we are, this is really uncomfortable.
yeah. Work through the sadness, the anger, and it is uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel good. It really doesn't. But
No.
but you have to go through it if you really do, and you have to learn from it, and
Yeah,
you know, make changes, and yeah.
And then on the other side, when you come out of it, you do feel really empowered, really
Really.
strong, really happy. You know, going on different journeys myself, you know, coming through the other end when you feel like you've accomplished something or learned something. It is good at the other end.
And I
then,
think sometimes the big thing is like it's not a bam, like, oh, I'm a new person, you know.
Right.
It's kind of a subtle change,
Very.
and it's not something that it's like, you know, this big light bulb that goes off. It's subtle, and you might not be like, oh
Uh-huh.
wow, here I am, I'm a new person, you
Right.
know, after, but you'll do things differently, and you'll seek out different things, and it'll be different, you know. That makes sense.
and hopefully you're happier,
Yeah.
you know, with yourself, and then therefore with your surroundings and your life and
Yes.
what you're doing.
Yes, yes, definitely. Well, we're just about at our time. I put out there this would be a 2-part series for online dating, and it's turned out to be talking about the Love Mentor. So next month's episode is going to be part 2 of online dating, and we'll have everybody back for a second episode to actually go through the process of getting on and what the experience is and going on dates and that interaction, and then ultimately falling into a relationship and going back to that list that I set up with the Love Mentor and really checking in with myself about that. So as always, I appreciate you guys joining me. You did an awesome job. I appreciate everybody who watches us on a monthly basis. As always, I hope this gives you the courage to change. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
See ya.